They say we should go like
yes.
that. We're counting down the days to the end of October, and this is bringing us so much closer to the end of the year. And you know what that means, right?
Yeah.
Christmas is coming.
That's one of my favorite
Excuse me, who's talking about Christmas with you? Do you not work Christmas? Do we not work New Year's?
Why is the end of the year?
I'm talking about my birthday. You ladies are not ready for the lusciousness, the sweet gay, the baby gay that I'm going to unleash on you guys.
No,
Next Sunday.
Tolu.
No, not
guys,
this Sunday.
watch out for Tolu's page. She's at Tolu at Balogun. That's her page on Instagram.
I'm planning things.
I don't know what her plans are, but I know that we are not safe. Because she has been talking about this thing for long. In fact, from last week or 2 weeks ago. It's almost as if she's warning us that, I wish I could say to you, oh, I shut down something. Am I right?
It's
not your fault.
It's not Lola's fault. It's the weekend hangover.
Listen, guys, really, how was the weekend? I don't know if we can do a Monday show without asking ourselves how the weekend was.
No. It was the weekend. It was weekending. It was weekending. We thank God. Yeah.
Lola, was
it quiet? Kilo day?
I don't know. Blessings is not. See, Blessings is not even surprised. Like,
I think we should move on.
Move on, Catherine. Let's be following our work.
Blessings, I can give you an insight, like an
into
idea.
Lola's weekend or Blessings weekend?
Yeah. No, Lola's weekend. You know, Blessings. Blessings is like a tomato that they have canned. That's, you know, the tomatoes they have not opened, so you don't know what's inside. Blessings, how was your weekend? Last time she had malaria.
It was okay.
She said she postponed the malaria.
Yes. I had too much work to do, so I'm like, it's not now, I'll be sick, so just come back.
You suspended the malaria.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Lola, you still don't want to talk.
Honestly, I don't know. These days, there's just so much dreariness. I think my weekend was a bit overwhelming emotionally because I saw a lot of death, a lot of burial. It was just off, you know, and it just makes you realize that you're here. It's like a privilege to be here.
Absolutely.
When you look around and you see people that nothing is really happening to and they just slump and they just die and you're like,
I was
okay.
coming this morning on radio. Somebody sent in a message and said, there's a dead body, I think, somewhere around Bagada. It's a guy, he was wearing a suit. And for all you know, he could be on his way to work. This morning. And that's just...
I'm just slumped.
And the conversation that I had is everybody is micromanaging.
Yeah.
It's so challenging. You see people jostling, juggling this and that, trying to balance to make sure that their home front is working. Yeah. This is a bad time to be sick. Honestly,
it is. I saw. Well, this was I think some weeks ago. A guy was driving in traffic and he slumped. He was at the red lights, but he just passed out. His head was like that.
Running.
Yeah. And then, you know, we are very impatient. Like the
light is green, everybody's
turned green, and then they were honking. But boy, you know, and then someone comes down from the guy behind him, comes down to open the door and sees that his head was there and tries to push him. Wake up now, you sleep, and the body fell on the other side. And you know, Nigerians were quite, he didn't expect that, so he panicked. And that was how that guy left.
Honestly.
He was in traffic.
Tulu, have you seen how many young people I talk to now?
Yeah.
I'm not lying. Out of 10, 7 are on some kind of medication or the other. Hypertension, diabetes,
depression,
arthritis, depression, anxiety. I'm like, Clearly,
things are not...
So, listen, I know a question, or should I say an afterthought lingering on some people's minds will be also, you say, this is what's happening to this person, that's what's happening to this person. On the other side, people are there thinking, the year is getting to an end. What have I done with myself? If I have not used myself to do anything productive in Nigeria, because Nigeria is Nigerianing, why are no jackpot? Probably I need to jackpot this year. As year don't finish, how I still won't take this country reach this time. So you see, different tastes for different folks. We're talking about things that are heavy, but people are looking at it that perhaps it's time to leave the country now because nothing is working.
Forget. If anybody hasn't left this country, let me tell you, it's one or two things. It's either they're doing extremely well here, or they don't have the means. If you tell me that they don't have the desire, that's a big lie. Catherine, have you been following the news lately? Like just this weekend, you know, it's like there's bad news everywhere.
Yeah.
No matter where you turn, I didn't even know that it was just going to be on this level. But I know so many people who say, Lolo, I don't even look at the news anymore. Honestly, to protect my own mental health, I try not to even look at the news anymore because I need to find a way to protect my mental health.
Yeah.
And me, I'm a very emotional by nature. So imagine how things affect me.
That's why Blessings does not just looks at you like that.
You know, the one that disturbed me the most was the story of the little boy that died in Ogun State. You know, there was, you know, Tone now, Adetone, everybody knows her. She was ranting seriously that they flogged this boy 164 times by a grammar school teacher in the Obada local government of Abeokuta, Ogun State, over a comment he made about a dustbin he brought to the class.
As in,
I'm like, no. Adeton ranted.
no, but because it doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
So I had to go and look, and according to what we're seeing online, the teacher took a trash can to the young boys' class and told the pupils not to break it. But the young boy jokingly replied to the teacher and said, the dustbin was brought with the students' money after all, and that the response offended the teacher, who reported to the principal and then received instructions to punish the deceased. And let's just clarify, apparently he was meant to do about 162, 64 frog jumps and then was also caned. How what is a child
comment?
Over a dustbin? And what is annoying me now is the teacher has been reportedly suspended. And that's it.
And they said that the head teacher of the head principal or something,
the principal.
was told to give them reason why she should not be queried.
Yeah.
Why? Who should not be queried?
Why did she give the instruction for the boy to be punished? She should tell them. I'm like.
So I think let's see if we can get the video now and hear a bit more about this story.
It's just too sad.
I'm doing this video. I'm calling the attention of the Commissioner of Police, the Inspector General. Good afternoon, fellow citizens of Nigeria. My name is just Aditu. So I just got a call now. So there's a boy who then just buy now for Abeokuta. He never reached 1 hour. The boy don't buy. Now, so they said these students, this teacher bought dustbin and then put it in the classroom and told the students that they should.
I don't even.
I thought we were going to get more.
I don't understand because they need to query them. They need to be prosecuted.
There should be people in jail.
There should be people in
went
jail.
To school.
Not
he
just
was alive
suspended.
and healthy. He comes home. He doesn't actually come home, but he leaves school dead. You cannot be telling me suspension is enough. Now we're hearing
They
from
say
the
he was
teachers union.
hospitalized, I guess. So that means he's.
But he died because of his injuries,
yes.
because of the situation that he was facing.
Your child went to school and you now had to take him to hospital and now watch your son agonize and die in pain over a dustbin. How much, even if it's the most expensive dustbin in the world, how much, and I know it cannot be, it will be a plastic dustbin they probably bought for 1,000 naira.
A lot of people are moving around with anger issues. And let's guys, let's...
It's just sad.
So that's why most times when they say that, okay.
So there's a boy who then just buy now for Abeokuta. He never reached 1 hour. The boy don't buy. Now, so they said these students, this teacher bought dustbin and then put it in the classroom and told the students that they should not break it. Jokingly, the boy said, is it not that money people used to buy it? The teacher found it offensive and went to report to the principal. I'm doing this video. I'm calling the attention of the Commissioner of Police, the Inspector General of Police, Commissioner for Youth and Development. I've already spoken to her. The PAMSEC, the Governor of Ogun State, everybody involved, all of you should come out. Now, the principal now instructed the teacher that he should discipline the students. This teacher went ahead and gave these children 64 strokes of the cane each. Whilst he was beating them, Ariyo started to throw, collapsed and hit his head on the floor. Ariyo was rushed to the hospital. Even before they rushed him, the teachers abandoned him there. Along the line, they saw that he was unresponsive. They took him and rushed him to the hospital. Ariyo got to the hospital. Ariyo don't die. Ariyo don't die. Hey, call the driver for me. Let's go to Abeokuta now.
162.
Ariyo buy finish. A particular government official is giving directive and instruction that they should go ahead and bury the boy immediately.
I need to see the organization in Ogun State that oversees schools.
Yeah.
I need to hear from that person. This is the kind of case I probably expect to see the first lady of a state involved
respond.
in. Going to visit the family of the boy who just passed away, insisting somehow whatever leverage she can on investigation into this matter. This is a situation that we should not allow to sweep under the carpet. And I say something. Wherever you find Nigerians, maybe because in many aspects of our lives we tend to be quite powerless, especially with our politicians and the socioeconomic status. Where you find Nigerians in certain the power, there's no way to say it in English.
Yeah.
That authority, I am the one, because you'll see it in another video in a different socioeconomic side of this the Nigerian strata. But it seems that Nigerians in certain places where we get to certain, be all end all, whatever that small place is in the authority we have, it goes to our heads.
This boy might not have eaten well, Tolu. Look at the ash economy of the country. Maybe he went to school on just like maybe bread and tea. Of course he's tired. There's no strength.
So I remember there was a time that there was a debate about whether or not schools should allow teachers to flog
Corporal
children.
punishment.
Right, and they say things like, this is not the West. Here we discipline children when they do. It's because of these things, because I don't know if it was Khan who said it, that people are moving about. It's not everybody that is mentally stable. And if we cannot afford to assess them, then don't let them touch other people's children. This is the result.
The more we continue to keep quiet on this, because this has nothing to do with the government is not doing anything for you. If you don't think this is a responsibility of every Nigerian, if you're a parent, if you're a mother, you're a father, you say, you hear when people say this can happen to you. Someone will say it's not my portion. It will je. Whether you like it or not, the more you keep quiet about things like these are the videos we will continue. This is a pattern we will continue to see. And it is already going on. Do you know how many times we've sat down here on this table and talked about this? This boy,
a parent abusing a child in a school setting. This is another on Friday. I'll be on Thursday. This is another one in a school setting. And this one, a child actually died.
So let's look at what is happening with our society, and the next story also unfortunately aligns with this. So there's a video I shared with the group this morning.
And Tolu shared that video, and it's a video, guys, of how a politician and a member of the House of Representatives mistreated the delivery guy who came to deliver something to him. Now, the driver apparently asked him to come out to the car, and coming out of the car, come and get the package. Now, take a look at this video.
With the way you have spoken to me, I did a job for you and you have to pay it, sir. You will not see any, you will not see a penny from me. With this level of disrespect, you're very, very. Madam, who is this boy that you sent to my house? Who is this boy that you sent to my house? How can this come to my house and tell me that I'm supposed to come and meet him in his car and pick up snail that I'm buying from you? Can you imagine this? I can make this man to disappear in the whole Nigeria and nothing will happen. Can you imagine this? I'm not going to give this boy 1 naira of my money. No. I'm not going to give this boy 1 naira of my money.
You've been insulting me, and I'm being quiet.
I pray that you do. I pray that you insult me. Can you please insult me? I'm not going to call my policemen to beat you up. I will beat you up. I will show you that I'm a big brother to you. I will slap the hell out of you and I will lie you down, lock you in my generator house. How dare you?
This is where I am. I'm actually with one man. He said he's a senator. I got a request.
So what was not shown in the video is that this gentleman, who apparently has been identified as a House of Representatives member in Nigeria, also struck. He physically assaulted the dispatch person at least 2 times. The second video that I was about to play, the dispatch person said 3 times. And so that's what we're talking about at the spectrum.
Yeah,
you have
absolutely.
a teacher in a very small school in Ogun State who has some level of authority, who feels that, I'm very sure she likely did not anticipate the boy would die. Her expectation was not, I'm going to beat him to death, but she was exercising her power because she had that power. Then you come to this side. You have a House of Representatives member who has now said on record that I can make this boy disappear, that I'm not calling my police on you, that in fact, if I could, I'll beat you myself and then I'll lock you in my generator house. A House of Reps member, National Assembly. So what do you, I'm really, unfortunately, I'm happy in a way because it cuts across the spectrum.
Yes, it does.
It shows that from top to bottom, we're all not okay.
Do you think any of these people have any respect for people?
Now
the fact that they are their House of Representative member, they do not even know that that is a position of serving their community, their constituents.
It should be a privileged position.
You just say something out of your mouth, and of course, because we're powerless people, nothing's going to come out of this video. Nobody's going to indict anybody. You will just get away with it.
So the thing is, if we see that the federal government is willing to investigate and I think prosecute people who had impeachment rumors against the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, I would expect to see this same federal government be willing to investigate a House of Representatives members who made a threat to life, who also then physically assaulted somebody, and it was caught on camera. To the rich, the same to the poor. What is good for the goose is good for the gander.
So now I'm asking myself, what are we expecting to get out of this? It's easy for the guy. He's speaking with such gumption.
Confidence.
Like say, listen, I can do anything I want.
You're like Bob.
He's been doing it before. And
He continues to say, do you know who I am?
What would a dispatch do? I had a dispatch deliver something to my house. So do you expect the dispatch to enter your house?
And then when he enters, you say, who asked you to
enter?
My house? My friend, will you stand outside?
Won't you stay in the gate and you will come and send someone?
Whatever it is you're buying from. And I'm sure that one will be on the phone placating you and say, oh, sorry, sir, he didn't mean to. He didn't mean that. And then further giving him a boil under his armpits, we go carry his shoulder come up.
What is he supposed to do?
He's untouchable, really.
See, we're going to reach out to the Honorable in question. I'm very sure in the next 1, 2, 3 days, we're going to get some kind of statement, some kind of maybe apology, non-apology, something that says it's the driver that was insulting him first or something. We're getting something small to placate us. But we really need to start questioning who we are as a people and the kind of people we are. Nigerians, you'll see very nice, empathetic Nigerians, but man, some of us, we're not okay.
We're not okay.
Imagine that this dispatched rider didn't record that.
Yes.
It would be his word against nobody would take him seriously. So
of course.
So when I tell people, I said, listen, nowadays as a Nigerian, you have to be present and get in front of whatever it is that's happening to you. Get evidence by all means necessary. Because if he had known, if the honorable member, whatever was,
he would have broken the phone.
But the thing is, even with the evidence, what would happen?
Don't remember we had a senator who was caught on camera in a sex toy shop and who assaulted somebody and nothing happened.
And he still did something again.
Yes, I think there was a point where he won re-election even though he's no longer there. There's been a court case and everything. We see it.
It's not just about the evidence.
About the evidence. What do they do with it?
They have priority over. At the end of the day, they prioritize their own lives, right? Like we said, it's not. We don't really mean anything to them, and because they're the ones in governance, they make the decision. So if you like complain, oh government, are you saying what this person is doing?
Nobody
even as much as she's saying that, I think this is where the courts of public opinion is where often Nigerians find themselves going to, because somehow this courts of public opinion with social media is able to get some kind of reaction. First, amplify, then get some kind of reaction. Possibly some sort of small apology, something that the justice system, the judiciary, the police are unable, in many cases maybe unwilling to get for Nigerians. So that court of public opinion is what sometimes can bring the pressure to bear on certain situations.
But my concern is it doesn't guarantee that it won't happen again. Maybe not with the same person.
But we will keep
If people continue to get in front of it like this the young man, if people continue to get in front of it, because we have a tendency to talk and forget ourselves.
Yeah.
That thing that we laugh about when Nigerians say, do you know who I am? We feel they laugh, but there's an underlay of all of that. It takes you to places where you don't want to be, and it causes you to abuse whatever authority that is bestowed on you. Imagine that man. This is, like you said, this is somebody who makes the law. You are there in government.
Yeah.
Is this a representation of
Why
what
is
that
he
you
the
do
one
there?
coming out safe? Doesn't he have people in his house that, oh, dispatch is at the gate, go and get something?
After all, he mentioned that he will call his security.
Why did he call his
So why did he
security?
call-
I'm even wanting to know that what is the delivery man expected to do? So when people deliver something to you, they come straight to your living room.
No, they don't even
Exactly.
enter my compound.
They don't, you just say, okay, are you at the gate? I will send someone, or I will come down, I will sign for my goods or service or whatever, take it and go.
Meanwhile, then you can complain, whatever you get from him, you can complain to the person that
Who
says,
sent
okay.
the delivery.
And then, because you see, that's the thing, the irony, we just gets my goat, is that you go to the Western developed countries and you fall in line with proper behavior. What is it about us here as a people? Are we animals that we don't know how to behave or comport ourselves here? But when we go to other countries in the abroad, we align ourselves
This guy
nicely.
would not dare try it outside of
what
this
I'm
country.
saying.
But where?
He will
That's
not
threat to
dare
life.
Man,
try it outside of this country.
Look at it here. Look at it here now. It's easy for you to do that. Meanwhile, when you go outside in an organized society where things are done properly, they're not born now where.
No, this is not a
And he wouldn't do
society.
that.
And we won't have to wait for it to go to social media, or it go to social media, but we didn't have to wait. Next thing you'll hear is that police will say a video has come to our attention and we are investigating.
And
Now
nothing
people
happened.
are having to tag the police, tag the National Assembly, tag Senator Akpabio, tag, I can't remember, I think it's Benjamin, no, he's
Just-
the deputy,
just
tag
keep
the
tagging everybody
Speaker
that
of the
they
House,
know,
of Representatives.
yeah.
Just be tagging, because we're waiting to see what is going to come of it.
Come of it.
All right, ladies, I don't even know if I want to add this one. It's been a long weekend. But let me ask you a jam question. Please, who is the Minister of Petroleum?
The president.
Your answer, you?
Is it not?
Is the president your
Yes.
answer? What's your answer?
That's him.
All of you are wrong. Foul. Well, we and millions of Nigerians are apparently all wrong, because according to the president's special assistant on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, they're not ready to let him rest, said that the president is in fact not the Minister of Petroleum and that he never called himself that. It is not surprising that Nigerians should say Tinubu is the petroleum minister. Now, here's the timeline. Former President Buhari refused to appoint someone for the office and instead appropriated it throughout his 8 years in Aso Rock. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo appointed himself Petroleum Minister for 6 of the 8 years he was in office. That's 1999 to 2005. Umar Yar'Adua gave the job to Rilwan Lukman during his presidency from 2008 to 2010. And then Goodluck Jonathan picked Desiani Alison Madueke for the office during his own term. And we know how that is continuing to play out. Now, Tinubu has 2 ministers of state for petroleum. One for oil, that is Heineken Lokubiri, and one for gas, Ekperekpe Ekwo. So it is logical for many Nigerians to have assumed that Tinubu was following the examples set by previous administrations, and particularly Buhari, his immediate predecessor, as petroleum minister. And then he did not actually announce anyone. But let's get that quote from Bayo Onanuga. He said that we all just want to go and live on assumptions. He says, I think I've answered this question somewhere. The president has never called himself the Minister of Petroleum. You people in the media gave him that title. He was speaking during an interview. We have 2 ministers that there already. As far as President Tinubu is concerned, there are all ministers. The president supervises all his ministers. He's in charge of everything. He's in charge of all ministries under him. So all
Clap
of
for
you,
yourself,
if this was an
Bayo.
exam, we all would have failed.
So you think you answered the question somewhere? That's how I get information in Nigeria.
Say
now.
you people
We
in
just
the media.
assume,
Yeah,
and
we are.
because nobody made a formal
Honestly, if you
announcement.
see all the Yoruba songs that are come, Ile Aye Yi Oto, those songs of, you know, those dangerous Yoruba songs coming to mind.
When I saw it, I
I
was
don't
like,
know
nah.
why information is so hard to be spread the right way. Why leave something to assumptions? Because we're not stupid in the media. If something was said expressly, because we know that this is the same administration, and this is what happened
In
before
previous
now,
administrations
in
of
the
the
previous
same party.
administration, and nothing had really changed in this new administration. So I would say it is safe to assume that the same thing still subsists, because a minister of state is different from
a substantive minister.
Substantive minister. But if that was to be, then you'd have explained it thoroughly to the people. So that we would have understood it.
My
And
sister, when you...
It's even a shame on you that we're having to assume this. Like, I don't understand. You're saying if people just sit down and concoct, assume, and then you answer this somewhere. Is that what it has got? It's like saying that someone just wakes up and Tinubu is no longer in office, and then we're seeing a new face, and they're like, no, he's not the president, he's just taking up. You will just assume that. I don't get it.
Whether
in
it's
this country.
Minister for State, Petroleum, Gas and Oil, it's the same thing. Bottom line is, the president, c'est lui qui dirige tout. The president is the one
responsible. The buck stops on his table.
Voila. So whether there's a minister for state, for oil, and then the other one for gas, whether we like it or not, directly or indirectly, Mr. Ononuga is using English to romance us and trying to hide. We look at the story behind the story. That thing that you're not saying is what we do here on Jesse. We look at it and we
This
say
kind of
it.
deflections come
So-
when maybe there's what I say, speculations now. But
Yeah,
maybe people are already saying, why is he even the minister of
He
this? And they're
is,
trying
whether
to
we like
shift
it or not, the president is on top of it. So yeah, you can
Parcel out the blame
voila,
as
you
you
can
want.
dole it out to an Ekpo and a Heineken, but we all know that last, they can't just be there as figureheads. Baba, you are the one that is calling the shots for that.
I like the word-
somehow we have the Ministry of Petroleum has not been in the news as it was during the time of my Madame Desiani.
Yeah.
You understand? So
You heard me say we're seeing the continuation of that issue.
it has just, that time the Ministry of Petroleum was in everything. The ministry, it wasn't far from. We knew who the Minister of Petroleum was at that time.
about.
So since then, it just died down. They just ensconced it among all of these Ekpo, Heineken, whether we like it or not. Last,
at the end of the day,
president
Catherine,
is the Minister of
yes, he appointed the ones who are ministers of state. If he's not appointed an overall minister for the ministry, at the end of the day, we will still put the blame on his table. But Blessing said a particular word, deflection, because a lot of people are saying now he's washing his hands of the corruption and the crisis in the oil and gas and petroleum industry, and you cannot. You're president. And I also think that we are getting gaslit. You are gaslighting 200 million plus people. Gaslighting you get you're gaslighting us. And I think the final other thing is, I've said it before, there are oftentimes points where governments like vacuum an absence of information, so they can come back. Either they'll label something as misinformation, disinformation, or fake news.
That's
it's
why
not
we
just
need
Nigeria.
Tolu
The
Adeyemi.
African governments who do it. The international governments who do it.
We need
that
her
lack
at the
of
NOA.
information,
That's
it
it.
plays for them. And then guess what? We're here 18 plus months later, and you're telling us the president never declared himself minister. Are we all sleeping?
He didn't need to declare
he
himself.
oversees all the ministries.
He's the
de facto ruler.
He's the big brother.
It's okay.
We're taking a break now.
So
when
who
Jesse
told you
returns,
so?
let's
You
take
cannot
out
tell us where to go.
Are you the minister?
Let's take out the gas
Are you
before
the
this place
minister?
goes up in flames. Let's take migration, both legal and illegal, as well as the push and pull factors of migration in the Nigerian context. Our guest coming up is a development expert and safe migration advocate. We continue after the break. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Join the conversation via social media. We are at News Central TV. Today, we're addressing a pressing issue with deep social, economic, and humanitarian impact: illegal migration and the importance of establishing safe migration pathways, particularly in Nigeria. Migration offers opportunities, but the journey is often fraught with risk for those who pursue it through irregular channels. From economic pressures to limited opportunities at home, many Nigerians feel compelled to seek better lives abroad, often at great personal risk.
And in this particular conversation, we'll explore why illegal migration persists, the dangers it poses, and the pathways that could provide safer alternatives for Nigerians seeking opportunities beyond our borders. We'll also discuss the role of policy, community awareness, and international cooperation in creating solutions that support both migrants and their communities. Our guest today is Dr. Enito Teju-Birunke, a development expert and safe migration advocate. You're very welcome to Jasiri, Dr. Teju.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
It's a
Thank
pleasure
you so much for
being here. I
joining
see so many
us.
beautiful faces. All right, so let's get straight into it. Let's talk about migration and how Nigerians migrate. So last year, December, the controller of Murtala International Airport Command of the Nigeria Immigration Service said that over about 3.6 million Nigerians migrated to other countries in the space of 2 years, and that's between 2022 and 2023. That sounds like a lot. So, my sister, don't laugh. So what?
I'll try.
So what are the factors that are pushing so many Nigerians to abandon home, abandon ship, and say they're leaving the country?
Okay, so first, I usually start up when this conversation or question comes up by telling people that primarily migration is a fundamental human right. That's the real truth of it. You have the right to be able to move from one location to the other, for whatever reason is best known to you. Now, however, in Nigeria's situation and the question you have asked, the major push factor is economic. Research has shown over the years, over time, that why people have left, even when they started living in the 80s back then, was primarily economic. People want to go for better, greener pastures, a better life. Now, of course, while we say economic factors, we're also saying, but Nigeria has money. There's a lot of life in Nigeria. There's enjoyment and everything. But they're also looking at the superstructure. People want a situation where if I earn this amount of money, I can live a decent life. I can live and say, I know there's light, I know there's water, I know there's electricity, I know there's safety and security of life and property. So those simple factors have, over the years, pushed people to migrate out of Nigeria.
What about health? I mean, we know that economic reasons, but some people might just leave because, listen, I want to go to a hospital, because some people are fastidious about their health. They don't want anything to happen to this machine they call their bodies. So, you know, health.
Well, very true. That is true. But to be honest, the research and details on it being a health factor has not been as pronounced. But then, because when you look at it, even for access to health in developed society, it's not exact. While it's there, it's not free.
Yeah.
And it's not exactly cheap in the countries that Nigerians go to. So you find that while people think about that, the thing they usually see, especially when we talk to a lot of people along the lines, whether irregular or regular, is that I want a better life for my children. I want to know that my children's education is sorted. I want to know that and that's because, unfortunately, it is still a case of the chicken and the egg. Because when you go abroad and study, you come back to Nigeria, you get better chances. That's the real truth. So even though we're saying better quality of life and education, it's not like as if the number, when you look at the number of Nigerians that have left, that have migrated, as vis-a-vis the opportunities they get, or those that are really making the impact, or the kind of jobs that they go and pay for, is the numbers are not exactly tallying. They're not tallying.
And I think that's part of the story people don't often want to hear or pay attention. And I'll blame all these Canada, UK, Nigerians. You'll come on, you'll put up the phone and start giving advice to everybody. But there's a really difficult part of immigrating, migrating, relocating, whatever you want to say, that we often don't talk about. But I think the next part we want to go is, we know that there's a clear difference between legal migration and illegal migration. And while the Nigerian Immigration Service can give us the legal numbers, 3.6 relative to a country of 200 plus million.
You see.
If you go into percentages, it doesn't, you know, but and those, but then again, sorry, I'll get to my question. That 3.6, we're seeing middle managers, we're seeing experience go out the door, we're seeing people who should be moving into upper management. So it's creating a gap, and some say it's an opportunity for those lower up to also move, that it continues this brain gain that we can do, but that's a different conversation. But it is important to note, as you said, Japa has been happening for decades, and it just doesn't happen in Nigeria. But Dr. Oteji Bironke, give us an overview of the current trends in illegal migration, particularly from Nigeria and even across the continent.
Okay, well, for that now, what has gone on is, so from after COVID, they found that the numbers of people who are migrating illegally has gone up. It has increased in such a way that the question has been, with all the risk, with the awareness, and that's what led to the international community coming up with a lot of work with CSOs, civil society organizations, to create a lot of awareness campaigns. At least from 2021 to about 2023, I was practically on every station, radio, media, talking about the risk and realities of irregular migration, because the numbers were increasing and those that were dying were really a lot. Now, of course, I mean, at this point, I'm sure you're looking for data like, 3.6 and numbers and everything. It's difficult to say because a lot of people are not documented. That's a real risk with illegal migration. Or has been said now, because now the balance is, say, let's call it irregular migration. That because you don't want to criminalize migration. Like, okay, whatever people want to call it is okay. But, you know, they usually say, call it irregular migration, because it's the method of going. that is wrong. Now, when they now get there, because they've gone through the pathways that are not legal or regular, then they now become illegal migrants. Because at that
So
point,
irregular migration leads to illegal migrants.
yes.
Okay.
So, so what then happens? What is now happening with that regard is that you have a lot of low-income Nigerians, unskilled people who feel that the opportunity to get a regular visa will be difficult for them, who feel that it's going to be complex to be able to try and channel access to going abroad. And then the knowledge base they have, they also, like you have said, social media, they're on Facebook. Facebook started this major challenge, because then on Facebook you will just see somebody in front of a car posting in front of a car. I say, is that not a sticker that we're just selling Gary together? Yes, sticker. And you're just shocked. So that is what's so funny. And then you now had so agents took advantage of that and said, you know what, you want to go, I can help you go, but you don't have a passport, and they will not give you a passport. And so the numbers swelled over the last. But now in 2024, as at now, you are now seeing that because of a lot of initiatives that have gone on in the last 3-4 years around upskilling, a lot of vocational skills, a lot of awareness has gone on about how you don't have to have a first degree or a tertiary institution qualification to migrate. Because if what is being looked for in the developed society are artisans, skilled work, those people who actually play in that non-informal sector.
The people that we disregard in the
Thank you. So a lot of the trainings that have gone on, which has been aided by the German government, the European Union, even the Lagos State government, they have a lot. So you have what then happens is they say, okay, because of that and the acquisition of trade certificates that can allow you to go, there's now a real focus. In fact, interestingly, the last program we had, the focus now is on how do you actually do safe migration pathways for that category of people. So there's a slight decline in irregular migration in terms of the numbers, because it's also more difficult. But then the interest is still high in Nigeria. It's even higher. But they're also knowing that when you get to the border crossings, the Mediterranean Sea, the desert, Libya, a lot of them are stuck in Libya. A few weeks ago, I spoke to 2 girls, and they'll tell you that, look, you know what, the experiences and the gory stories that they go through, but somewhere in their mind, they're still thinking, it go better. I will still go again. Maybe it's who took me the first time I did it badly. Maybe it's who to follow that was bad. So that interest is not there. The numbers have increased in terms of desire, but then because there are now opportunities, like say Canada, the things that are going on, I can put my papers together, I can get proof of funds, all those things are easier to access now. So there's a lot more focus on safe and regular migration.
What's it about Libya, Sha?
It's a pathway. It's not the final destination. It's just in the way of the final destination.
For a lot of them now, in their minds now, number one. So it's 2 things. Initially, we always thought Libya was just a pathway. But you've seen now, I've seen videos, I've spoken to these girls, some of them are happier to live in Libya because in Libya, there's the governance system is different. You can make money. You can do, so that's an interesting thing. There's a lot of suffering, there's a lot of wickedness, but when you are willing to do some jobs or allow yourself to be led by some of you have the women who, it's like a cartel. You have the women who guide them. And so I watched the video personally myself, where the girl was saying that as a house girl in Libya, she knows how much she's getting when she converts it to Naira. And as a house girl then, there's also the demand for black Nigerian women. For purposes, for pleasure purposes. So those girls look at it
sex trafficking. Let's call it what it is. Because I was waiting for her to land. The term is sex trafficking.
No, you see that sex trafficking is one thing. Now that is in itself an offense. But we're talking about women that are willing to be prostitutes, to be used for. It's a business.
And they don't mind.
They don't want to make mind. So initially, at first, when they're going, they know that they already know that myth of being a hairdresser, house girl is all a lie. They're like, you know what? If I'm here in Nigeria, I'm going to do the same thing, and I will not make as much money. But if I go to Libya, because they call them Arabu. There's Arab men, and it's Arab money, oil money.
It's Arab money.
Yes, it's oil money. I'm telling you, so the mentality is crazy.
It's one thing to know the dangers involved. But there's some people, Nigerians, a lot of us have this main character syndrome. Like you said, like 10 of us will go, but it's me that will survive. I'm the one that will not drown. I'm the one that, don't worry, you know. So a lot of people don't know the dangers involved. They think that it's just surface. Like the things they're saying are just exaggerated. So you mentioned that as a last year you were doing media rounds, you know, speaking on the dangers. Can you speak on some of them? That's of irregular, I call it dangerous migration.
Okay, well, so the major dangers are the risk which was called sex trafficking, the tendency to become a victim of a crime. You can be trafficked for sex, you can be, your organs may be actually taken.
I was just going to ask you about that. I was just, let me just add it, since you're going to be talking in it. You know, in the past couple of years, organ trafficking was something we just saw in films.
Yes.
You know, something that wasn't real to us, like seriously. But now it has become a major thing because those that illegally migrate find themselves at the risks of some of these dangerous crimes. That many of them are actually, their organs are taken out.
Yes.
How is this something that does not even scare those that want to take this illegal migration?
So we have sex trafficking, we have human trafficking, we have organ trafficking.
Like,
what?
You know how, unfortunately, the thing that is our strength, that we say we're resilient, we're hopeful, we're joyful, is also a negative.
Yes.
Because the mindset of the people who are going to migrate illegally or irregularly is that I will get there. They hear the stories, they know. So to answer you, they actually know, they hear it. It's told in every community. There's almost no community in Nigeria today that has not been, at least where the risk of irregular migrations are high. There's none of them that has actually not heard. But what you see in this situation is that I am protected.
You're the main character.
I am protected. Yeah. I have taken natural, native jazz. Yes. I've taken my prayer, my oil, my water, everything together.
My Bible, my Quran.
Who is the person that wants to stand in my way? Whatever will stand in my way will be crushed. So that mindset is there. So we now look at it. What a lot of them don't realize is that there's no savior anyway. So that savior mentality that we have as Nigerians, that somebody is a messiah or a savior. There's no human savior. So in the mind of the person who is trying to migrate illegally, to talk about the link that you mentioned, they're seeing the agent or their friends or the person who is telling them to go as a savior who's going to take them out of their challenge. They're not realizing that the person that is the agent, so you see the whole line is so deep. They're not realizing that the agent himself or herself is just an agent or a tool in the hand of somebody else. So along the line, those that have their organs trafficked or taken out are collateral damage. They are stray bullets victims.
But there are that's a lot of stray bullet victims.
Unfortunately, because it is intentional. You wouldn't want to take someone who is documented, who they know, so that if the person goes missing or anything happens to that person, there's a trail. There's a trail to follow. So who best, other than the people that have put themselves as pawns? They put themselves on the line. That, you know what? So you find a lot of people who, that's why people, I remember sometimes, people say, oh, my brother traveled, my sister traveled, I will not hear from him for 2 years or 3 years. Some of them have gone, long gone. They're not anywhere to be found. So you find that issue, it's a whole, that's why the issue of people having agents and illegal migration may never go away for a very long time. Until and unless the International Court of Justice starts to criminalize offenders of organ trafficking and sex trafficking.
Who profit off of it,
Yes.
Profiteers.
So if there's no consequence, proper one. But then again, the flip side of it is that most of the people, unless they were actually kidnapped or coerced or they were taken by force, the flip side of it is that the law would also tell you that a lot of the people that end up being trafficked either for their organs or for sex were voluntary people. They willingly went on the journey. That's so you see, okay, you say, oh, they didn't know the consequences, they didn't know this was going to happen, but a gun wasn't put to their head to say, come on, you chose this method of travel.
Okay, because of time today, there's another important point I want us to get to, and that's because even people in some of the countries Nigerians are going to, whether they're legal or illegally migrating there, those people are migrating to, as you said, migration is a natural human right. It is the irregular channels that end up causing some people to be illegal migrants. How much of irregular migration could be addressed in Nigeria by improving job opportunities and economic policies and giving safety nets to people is it not just sometimes people who have wanderlust, their feet, ajala travel, their feet, they can't just stay in one place. No, there's some people like that. And the thing is, expats come into this country, they will live the expat life. We will not call them migrants. Expats will come into this country and live the expat life, and we're fine with them. Next year, they're in Europe. Next year, they're back in the US. Next year, they're in Canada. The world doesn't ever look at that as something wrong. But illegal or irregular migration wears a black or brown face. But if we fix what is wrong as at home, does that guarantee that we'll see this trend decrease?
And for the ones who don't want to, who are jalas and decide they want to go, are there legal pathways that exist? If they, I just want to merge the question so that, while we're looking at that, but if people want to go properly,
you say, what is happening here happens every time the conversation of migration comes up, and the questions, the multifacetedness of it always comes up. Now, with regards to what you have said in terms of policy, so initially we touted the policy route or policies and everything, and it sounds all good and great, but interestingly, every nation, almost all the nations of the world are part of international treaties. We have international treaties that govern how we all move, how we behave, and you find that we're United Nations member states. So what now that indicates and shows to us is that policy formulation is not enough. So you can come up with policies that fix everything. Recently, there was a women economic empowerment program by Lagos State. There are many things. There's so many things. But the question then remains that you put the policies in place and say there's going to be a policy that would address issues that are push factors for irregular migration. The reality is that are those policies enacted? Is the society sane enough? It comes back to basic standard of living.
Yeah.
We're talking of increase in minimum wage, but increase in minimum wage meets inflation.
And meets increase in pump.
Inflation meets, so at the end of the day, first and foremost, the people are already drained mentally. Yeah. And fundamentally, what is now the issue is beyond that. Do we have our system? I don't want to go so deep, but our system, there's no manufacturing, there are no opportunities, there's nothing we're taking out. So it's not just about saying we give you light. So yes, we had band A light and everybody complained. No, we have too much light, please, we're paying too much.
It's not too much light, we're just paying too much. It's just like we're paying too much.
We're paying too much.
So you see, now we said, so those things, now policies alone will not change the issues of illegal migration. What needs to change is a systemic, you start from bottom up. First, agriculture, manufacturing, employment opportunities, standard of living is okay. I can have access to loans. I can do my house on mortgage. I can plan for my children's education. So it's a whole system. And that, unfortunately, is not going to happen in 5 years. It can't even happen in 10 years. Wow. So we're going to now have to say to ourselves, the most that we can do to curb this kind of issues now will be to say, okay, you know what kind of collaborations and cooperations can we do with people from other countries? How do we look at so inside migration issues, we've started exploring intra-African regional cooperation to say, if you can't, how do we develop, what can we do within Africa? You have a lot of initiatives that say, okay, how do we empower women, MSMEs, women-led businesses, and things like that. Now, to answer the other question of...
Very quickly, please, because of time, I'm so sorry.
Yes. And I said those are there legal, safe migration pathways. Please. Definitely, if you're qualified, education is a legal pathway for you to go. So you can actually go abroad, say, I'm going for a master's, from there my PhD, I'm going to work in academia here, or you can build an education pathway that leads you into a career pathway. Yeah. That's a safe way. There's also, of course, investment routes. You to say you want to go and migrate legally. If I have enough money to invest in the society there, to get property, to build up, so I can go. Those are options as well. Yeah. And then you can also talk about citizenship. Yeah. You can talk about getting your citizenship, which is what Canada is doing. They also have, for Germany, you have the family reunification policy, whereby in that situation, you already have, there are a lot of people that have gone since the 80s, 70s, and then you have the opportunities to be able to get your own family members to come. But so all those things at the end of it, but what happens, bottom line of migration narrative, locally and internationally, is that what the world wants is that if you are coming from your country to my country, please do not become a leech. Bring economic opportunities, bring economic value, unless you actually are a refugee or an internally displaced person by virtue of real war or crisis or you are being
Or asylum seeker.
an asylum seeking is not, Nigerians are not eligible to asylum seeking because we are not classified as a country under war.
Okay. All right. So it's obvious that we just scratched the surface of this conversation. And we're going to have Dr. Anita Oteju-Ibirunke come back and join us. She, of course, is a development expert and safe migration advocate. We're going to have to continue this because the safe pathways is a part of the conversation. The role of awareness in education, we need to further, of course, expand that and also look more at policies and international collaborations. But thank you so much for your time today. We look forward to having you back. And on that note, it's a bye-bye from me and the ladies. We will see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. West African time. We do it all again. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.